Shut up. Alrighty, hopping on the YouTube. Let's see. View your channel. Yeah, let's do that. Edit video. Let's go here. Let's go view your channel. Let's go manage videos. Let's go to this one. And let's go ahead and copy all these. Let's go ahead and paste them here. Perfect. Alright, now what we do is we open this here. Let's go here. Let's go pull out. Yep. Alright, get overlay. Copy that. Change it here. And then change it here. Okay. Boom. Alright. And then once we do that, let's go ahead and let's go here. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Now, what we do, take a scoop of Greek yogurt, we eat it, right? And then what we do, go here, we find an old picture, right? And we say we're live on Instagram. Let me pull up this real quick. Did you see Lapuki go off last night? Dude, freaking 16 points in the fourth quarter. I was watching that game. I think he's back. I think Lakers basketball is back. I think they got a chance, to go all the way this year. I don't think it's crazy to say that. Dude, I can't find any good pictures. Well, this is awkward. Um, no, no. I need to find a bad picture. Should really have these loaded up before the stream, huh? Not locked in. Yeah, this is perfect, actually. Let's do this one. Boom. Boom. Saved photos. Bro, real quick, if y'all have never had, um, um, Greek yogurt, y'all gotta have it, bro. Greek yogurt's so good. Top tier, in my opinion. And do. Here we go. Yes, perfect. Boom. All right, we do that, and then we go to this one. Boom. Boom. All right, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get into this. Right after I do this, link it, put it there, send to that. Boom. All right. I think we're good to go. All right, let's do it. Let's start off here. Oh man, so obviously this week there is no England game, sadly. No early games. Okay, what just happened? Um, you know, obviously last week we couldn't stream. I was away, sadly. So we're back at it this week. Obviously, we got first game here, Ravens versus the Browns. So, if y'all do not already know, obviously, Deshaun Watson's gone out for the year. Probably tore his Achilles, but I mean, we're looking here. David Njoku has been the guy, right? I mean, whenever Deshaun was in, whenever he was out, whenever Thompson Robinson was in, whenever James Winston was in, didn't matter. David Njoku was getting targets, right? So I think that he's probably going to be the main receiver for this team, which is kind of crazy for me to say because tight ends this year have been really, really bad. But I mean, I think with Nick Chubb coming back, this is definitely a big help for this Browns offense. Um, and obviously, they trade Amari Cooper, so they're not trying to make the playoffs this year. But I mean, the Ravens should definitely take this game. I just think that this Browns team's they're not bad when they're fully healthy, right? I think their defense is going to be amazing, for the rest of the season. But I mean, they just can't beat the Ravens. The Ravens team is kind of overpowered, right? Lamar Jackson, he's looking like probably the best quarterback in the league right now. I'm not gonna lie. Derrick Henry over rushing touchdowns, like CMC over anytime touchdown last year. He's just getting it easily. Like he's literally projected a touchdown basically this game. Um, Zay Flowers didn't really get much work last game. Obviously, I think that you know, although it was a high scoring game, I hate that it brings me to the film room. He only had 11 yards, but it's very this offense is very spread out, which is something we talked about with like the Chiefs, the Bills. I've kind of been saying it a lot. Sound like a broken record player, honestly, but I think really, Mark Andrews, he's been getting more involved in his offense as well. This offense is so spread out, and that's why they're so good, right? It's because their offense is spread out, and I think if they continue to keep spreading out this offense, there's no reason why they shouldn't be a Super Bowl contender, right? All right, Titans Lions. I mean, I think I just saw a report that Mason Rudolph starting. Um, Mason Rudolph, Will Levis, whoever's in, doesn't matter. This Lions team is gonna win. Calvin Ridley, absolute buns. I'm not gonna lie. This dude had, I believe, like 9 targets. No, no, no. Way more than 9 targets. Let's look at Calvin Ridley stats. Because we have the time, right? Might as well. This guy has gotten like a million bazillion targets. Look at this. 9 targets, 8 targets, 3 targets, right? Let's just look at these. Actually, no. We can include this game too. Let's not look at week 2. Actually, week 1. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Don't look at the first 2 games. Let's look at every game since week 2, right? So week 3 and on. 3, 6, 14, 23 targets, right? What has he done with 23 targets? 42, 47, 58 yards. 58 yards on 23. Wait. 58 yards on however many targets we just said. I think 23 or 24. That's really bad. If you give a running back 23 carries, 24 carries, I bet they're going to get more than 50, 56 yards easily, right? Even receptions at the backfield. So, I mean, really, like, he's getting the targets, especially these last 2 weeks. He's gotten, the majority of the target share out of this offense. But, I mean, Mason Rudolph, Will Levis as your quarterbacks, you're not going to be able to do much there. Looking at the lines, this team is just they're freaking good, right? Coming off a win against the Vikings last week, big win, obviously. Defeated the Vikings, who were undefeated at the time. I don't know. I think that this line seems really good. Obviously, it sucks that Hutchinson's going to be out for the year, which we didn't. I don't think we talked about that because I was out last week. So, I mean, I think that going forward, this Lions team is going to be really freaking good. And like I talked about in my video, this is the dude I'm questioning right here. Sammy freaking Laporta, right? Sam Laporta was an absolute beast last year, right? He was really good. He was probably the best. He had the best rookie tight end season of all time. Probably going to get broken by Brock Bowers this year. But, I mean, it's really just been depressing for him, right? I feel like ever since the start of this year, really, I mean, I've been hoping that he's going to bounce back, but he hasn't been able to do that, right? Also, I think Monty's playing this game. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Monty and Gibbs are probably the best backfield duo like I've seen in my 5 years of watching the NFL, and they're freaking beasts. Thoughts on T. Higgy being out? Will the Eagles capitalize on this? Yeah, let's go ahead and look at that actually. So T. Higgins did get ruled out like a minute ago, really. So obviously with no T. Higgins, Jamar Chase is gonna get a bunch of targets. I think we're gonna probably see Chase Brown get a lot more looks as well with Higgins out. But I mean, I think that the Eagles, they could capitalize on this. I think that this game is still probably gonna be around the same as what I thought it was gonna be. I think it's still gonna be a pretty high scoring game. Right now, Vegas has it at 47.5, which is a little lower than what I think it's gonna be. But yeah, I mean, I think that really with Higgins being out, we're just gonna see a lot more receptions go Jamar Chase's way. Maybe Yoshi Voss too. Obviously, we saw with T. Higgins out for like the beginning of the season, Yoshi Voss was getting a lot of receptions as well. So it's pretty big news there, honestly, especially for my fantasy team because I do have T Higgins in a couple of leagues. But um, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and talk about this Colts Texans game. So obviously with the Colts, Anthony Richardson is back. Um, obviously has not been very good this year. Right? I think that we all know that. Um, but like for this Colts team, they can definitely still make the playoffs. They're 4-3 right now. I could see them if they beat the Texans here. They're gonna be tied for AFC South. Um, so I mean, this game is this gonna be a good game, right? Obviously, last time the Colts played the Texans, Anthony Richardson played really well with no Josh Downs. Obviously, he threw a lot to Alec Pierce, um, and Alec Pierce was actually very dominant in that game, right? So I mean, in this one, I really do hope that I really do hope that we're gonna continue to see Anthony Richardson air the ball out because that's kind of what he's best at. Even though he's super inconsistent with his accuracies, right? Looking at the Texan side of things, no Nico. I heard that he's on track to actually come back week 10, is what they said. Um, but like, I mean, this offense is really just relying around Joe Mixon right now with no Nico. CJ Stroud honestly hasn't been throwing the ball that much just because there's no Nico. Like I wish it would wish it wouldn't bring me the film, but like if we go to here, Stroud had like 86 passing yards last week against the Packers without Nico, and honestly, I think that trend's probably going to continue. Like Joe Mixon, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was the second week in a row we really saw him get basically all the work out of this backfield. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously Diggs is going to be your main target, your main guy getting targets, right? Tank Dell 4 targets didn't do anything with it. I think if the passing offense can get going for the Texans, they're gonna be really good. It's just that they're gonna need guys like Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell to step it up, and I think they definitely can. But I mean, I don't know. It's just it's weird seeing no one really getting involved. Like Nico Collins is a big factor in this Texans offense. I didn't think he was this big of a factor though. Um, But yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and look at Green Bay Jacksonville. So this game, I think, is probably going to be a pretty high scoring game. Obviously, the Jaguars right now, if we actually look at their passing defense, they're the worst in the league. The Packers are number 5, but really the main guy I would like to look at is Jaden Reed here, obviously. With this Packers offense, this is another one that's really spread out, and that's why they're so good, right? I think we're probably going to continue to see Jaden Reed get those deep shot targets. Brian Thomas Jr. as well probably get those deep shot targets. These are two guys who are, really good in the slot. So hopefully, they keep getting targets. I know Jaden Reed's like, if his efficiency isn't there on his targets, it's really hard to start him in fantasy. Um, just because like he'll end up getting like 5 targets, but he only have like 30 receiving yards with like 4 receptions, right? So you really need the efficiency from Jaden Reed, which he usually brings it, right? Um, Josh Jacobs, another pretty good running back, 3 down workhorse back. I think he's basically taking this role from Emmanuel Wilson, and he should be he should have this role 100%. Jordan Love has looked like a guy who's potential MVP candidate. Obviously, he throws a lot of interceptions, but I think Jordan Love's he's a stellar quarterback in my opinion. Looking at the Jag side of things here, I mean, I don't think Etienne's playing. Let's see, he's questionable. Probably not playing. If he's playing, I really don't think he's gonna get a lot of snaps. Um, I think Tank Bigsby's really earned this running back spot. You know, I think he's been playing really well. And kind of like what we talked about with Jaden Reed, Brian Thomas is the same thing with the efficiency, right? We are expecting him. My AP Gov here. I got you, Caleb. we're really expecting Brian Thomas Jr. here to be an efficient receiver, right? And if he's not that efficient receiver, like getting 20 yards per catch, then he's really not that effective in fantasy football, right? Like, let's see. Let's go to the Jags last game against the Patriots. Let's see. Go to box score. Okay, so yeah, 5 receptions, 89 yards, 17.8 yards per reception. So like this is kind of what I'm saying. Like if this 17.8 is down here with like Evan Ingram at 7 yards per reception, you're not getting that efficiency, right? And we really saw that. Let's see with Jaden Reed last week with the Packers, against the Texans. Here we go, box score. Jaden Reed. Look at this. 4 targets, 2 receptions, 10 yards. Obviously, didn't really get that much work. Dobbs really got a lot of the offensive workload here, but 2 receptions, 10 yards, 5 yards per reception. The efficiency isn't there, and it's sometimes there, it's sometimes not there. It's really like a 50-50 shot. So that's why it's kind of risky to start those guys, but they're very good flex options because that flex option is really your boomer bust type player, right? All right, looking at this Cardinals Miami game, I do think that this game could be pretty good. Dolphins are favored by 4, obviously with Tua coming back. I think this is big for this Dolphins offense, right? I mean, we've seen basically ever since Tua's been out, this offense has been so bad. Tyreek Hill hasn't been getting anything downfield or even anything short. Jalen Waddle's been basically non-existent. Devon Achane basically non-existent, right? It's kind of like it seems like Tua is basically the offense, and if Tua's not playing, then this team is just not good, right? Currently they're 2-4. They're definitely still in playoff contention. 10th in the AFC. So I mean, it's definitely a potential for them to make the playoffs, but I think they're gonna need to win a lot of games here. I mean, I think that let's look at their schedule. I think they can beat the Cardinals this week. So that should put them at 4-3. Bills, the Bills own the Dolphins, so I don't know if they're gonna win that one. The Rams are looking really good. Raiders, Patriots, that should be 2 wins. Packers are good. Jets are good. Texans are good. 49ers are good. Browns, they should beat. Jets are good. So, I mean, it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs for sure. I think they can do it, but, I mean, they should definitely win this game today. Would you play Jaden Daniels today? For sure. Is he playing? Is he still questioned? I think is he a game time decision, I think. Let's see. I know they haven't projected to play. Let's see. Jaden Daniels, yeah, he's still questionable. It's probably a game time decision. So yeah, if Jaden Daniels plays, then I think you have to start him because he has so much rushing upside. All right, but looking at Jets Patriots, right? The Jets have been, obviously last week, first week with Devontae Adams, they weren't very good. Got destroyed by the Steelers, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. But I mean, I think as time goes on, this team's gonna be really good. Obviously, something I'm really happy to see is Breece Hall is the workhorse back. We're not really seeing anything from Braylon Allen, which is great. Not only for my fantasy team, but also for the Jets, because I think Breece Hall is an amazing option to go to. Devontae Adams, obviously, a little bit disappointing in this last game against the Steelers. 9 targets, 3 receptions. Not really what you want to see there, but I mean, like I said, first game with Aaron Rodgers in like a couple of years, so I think as time goes on, they're gonna get that connection back together. I'm really curious to see how Garrett Wilson gets involved. Who this wide receiver one is between Adams and Wilson. It'll definitely be interesting to see. But I mean, kind of like the Dolphins here, the Jets really need to win a lot of games for them to be in playoff contention here. Looking at the rest of their schedule, yeah, they're on a 1, 2, 3, 4. They're on a 4-game losing streak right now. But I mean, they play the Patriots today. They should be a win. Texans Thursday night. This can be a good game. Cardinals, they should beat. Colts, they should beat. Seahawks. Seahawks will be a tough one. Dolphins will be a tough one. Jaguars they should beat. Rams will be a tough one. Bills will be a tough one. Dolphins will be a tough. I mean, their division's really hard, right? The only team that's really like an easy win is the Patriots, right? Miami and Buffalo. Those are two teams that are going to be really tough to beat. Um, but I mean, looking at this game from the Patriots side, I mean, the Patriots just suck, right? Drake May's really been doing nothing all year. Ramondre Stevenson obviously hasn't really been doing anything either. So there's no one you can really start in this Patriots offense. I do think that Drake May is sneaky good though. Drake May's definitely looked like a pretty solid rookie, and I think as time goes on, he's gonna be a pretty good option for the Patriots. All right, looking at this Buccaneers Falcons game here. So the Buccaneers, obviously, no Godwin, no Mike Evans. Uh, it's gonna be tough for them. Bucky Irving is playing. He just got announced that he's active. It's tough for this offense. Obviously Baker Mayfield's still probably gonna throw the ball a lot because that's kind of what their offense is around. I'm really interested to see who the wide receiver one is in this offense. It's most likely Jalen McMillan, but I would be interested to see if Sterling Shepard is, gets as many targets. I think Kate On's really going to be the main guy, though. I think Kate On's probably going to get a lot of opportunities from Baker Mayfield. But with someone like Rachaad White, we've talked about this all year. Super inconsistent running back. But I mean, we look at this last game. He actually did really well. Against the Ravens. Let's look at his box score. Yeah, so obviously he doesn't have that much with the running usage, but receiving wise, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 71 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that'll do it for you, right? And that's kind of what you're banking on with Rachaad White every single week, is you're banking on this receiving usage. Bucky Irving, he's long term. I think he's going to be the starter in this offense, but now you have someone like Sean Tucker stepping in. He's taking away carries as well. So I mean, going forward, I think this should be interesting to see what exactly happens here. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Buccaneers should take this game. Um, that's just kind of what I think here. But I am interested to see how this Buccaneers offense operates without Godwin or Mike Evans. Looking at the Falcons, though, obviously Bijan and Kirk and Drake London are kind of like the main targets from this offense. Darnell Mooney's there like every once in a while, really. Last game we didn't really see much of him against the Seahawks. I mean, in this game, I think we really should see a lot of I think we'll see a lot of passing in the first half. It's kind of surprising to me that the Buccaneers are favored without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Yeah, that is weird. I don't know. All right, whatever. But anyway, I mean, I think that it'll be interesting to see. I think that the Falcons will go up a lot probably in the first half, and I think we're going to see a lot of running from Bijan. So Bijan should be someone you're excited to start in fantasy. Even if he wasn't playing the Buccaneers, you're excited to start him every week. Same thing with Drake London. He's getting like the majority of targets out of this back or out of Kirk Cousins. So I mean, I think that the Falcons should win this game. I'm excited to watch it for sure. I'm just really excited to see what Baker Mayfield does. We love Big Mr. E. Oh yeah, come on now. I got that analysis on point. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we got the Bears and the Commanders here next. The battle of the two rookie QBs. Caleb Williams, obviously, he's been looking really well. Actually, he's kind of looked he's looked really really good. Let's look at his stats here. Obviously, the first couple of games a little wishy washy, right? But ever since then, I mean, we look here. So 93 174 against the Titans Texans, but then Colts 363. But I mean, that's off of 52 passing attempts. We're really looking here. 304 off of 29 attempts, 226 off of 29 attempts with 4 touchdowns and an interception. He's been a pretty solid quarterback in my opinion. Especially for a rookie, right? I was a little concerned with him whenever he first came out and played really bad against the Titans and Texans, but he's looked a lot better. He's looked like he's getting in a groove now. Same thing with Swift. It's kind of like they're both proportionately on the same trajectory, really. Like, we're looking at the first 2 games, really the first 3 games here 20, 18, 30, yards per carry, 1.5, 1.3, and 3. I thought that he was washed, I'm not going to lie, but then comes out against the Rams, 93 yards, 5.8 yards per carry. He got it doesn't show the receiving volume here, but, um, same thing with Panthers. 73 yards, 1 touchdown, 91 yards, 1 touchdown against the Jaguars. So he's getting there. He's been playing a lot better recently. So will we see the same red zone potential from Keenan Allen that we saw last week? Um, that's a good question. I think probably not. I don't think that we're gonna see Keenan Allen get like 2 touchdowns, obviously. But in the red zone, I think that he could potentially get a lot of targets, especially like since he's that big body receiver that I think Caleb Williams can trust, especially with him being a veteran. I think someone that we are going to see get a lot more usage in this Bears offense is Rome Odunze. Um, Obviously, with rookie receivers, kind of like rookie quarterbacks, we really see like as time goes on, they get a lot better throughout the year just because they're getting used to offenses, right? Um, but I mean, on the other hand, we're let's look at another rookie quarterback in Jane Daniels who hasn't struggled all year really. Um, Especially from a fantasy point of view, right? You're always gonna have that rushing upside. Um, but like just like looking at these games, right? Obviously, you didn't have any really passing, any touchdowns or anything like that. You're still getting there rushing wise, but I mean, he's been a quarterback who's going out there and winning games for this Commanders team who was not projected to do much, right? And I think that really shows how much of how much production that he's bringing to this team. Brian Robinson has looked amazing. Terry McLaurin's looked amazing. Finally happy, or I mean, I'm happy that he finally has a good quarterback to throw him the ball because he's always been a talented receiver. He's just really never had someone to throw the ball to. Uh, Zach Ertz, he's been looking really good. Really their second receiver, like Noah Brown, Texan legend, Cowboy legend, but I mean they need another second receiver that is better than Noah Brown in my opinion. But I mean, this team's pretty good, right? As long as they have Jaden Daniels, I think they're always going to be in contention for the playoffs. And even without Jaden Daniels, when they had Marcus Mariota in, they absolutely blew out the Panthers. Who obviously it's the Panthers are kind of like a JV team, but I mean they still blew them out, right? They're still an NFL team. Um, so I think that you got to respect the Commanders. Um, as far as the NFC East, it's just tough for them, right? We got the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and Commanders. I think that their main competition here is the Eagles. I don't really think the Cowboys are going to be doing too much unless we can see them win big games, right? They haven't really been able to do that this year. Um, but yeah, I think the Eagles are probably the biggest competitor for them in this division. Um, yeah, I think this game should be good though. I'm excited to watch this one too because I just want to see the battle of two rookie quarterbacks, and I'm sure that everyone else does too. And like looking at the line right now, it's very even, -1, +1. There's no favorite really. I think that if Jane Daniels does play, I think the Commanders should take this, but if he doesn't, I would go with the Bears here. Um, yeah, I think that's what I would do. But this is gonna be a really good game. All right, let's look at this Saints Chargers game. Spencer Rattler, this is probably his last week playing. Um, Obviously you have Olave back, but I don't know. Just seeing Spencer Rattler play last week, you really can't start anyone in this offense. Everyone's kind of sucky in my opinion. Like Olave, I know that he's a very talented receiver, but there's not really much that he can do with Spencer Rattler, which is quarterback, right? It's kind of like what we saw with Tyler Huntley and Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. The only one who I would consider starting is Alvin Kamara, obviously. And, he didn't do that well against the Broncos. But, again, Broncos defense probably one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. Um, Looking at this Chargers though, the Chargers here. Herbert looked really well. In his last game, right? He had, I believe, 349 passing yards. I was surprised McConkey really didn't get a lot of targets though, and a lot of receiving yards because I'm really used. I would have expected him to get a lot of the work from this offense, especially if Justin Herbert's getting all these passing yards, right? But he didn't really get much, so that was surprising to me. I think going forward, we're probably going to see him get more and more in this offense. J.K. Dobbins has looked really good. Obviously, last week he didn't really do too much, but once again, I think that he's probably going to be a pretty consistent running back. Um, Coming off that torn Achilles last year with the Ravens, so yeah, I think that this game the Chargers should win this pretty easily. That's what sportsbooks are saying as well. But I mean, I think that this should be a good game overall. Um, yeah, I go with the Chargers there for sure. All right, Bills Seahawks up next. I think that if the Seahawks win this game, it's probably gonna be a shootout. Um, just because obviously the Bills are really really good, right? With Josh Allen, they're probably one of the best offenses in the NFL. Just because like we talked about before, they have so many receiving options. And obviously now you have Amari Cooper, who looked really really good in only 50% of the snaps last week, right? I know that was against the Titans, who obviously are a really bad football team. Um, but I mean, still, if you're getting 50% of snaps, 60 yards, 4 receptions, and a touchdown, shoot, I mean, you're playing 100% of snaps, you're getting 8 receptions, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns, right? I mean, that's really freaking good. Uh, and then someone I am a little bit worried about though for this offense is James Cook a little bit. Obviously, I feel like he's let me see his stats these past couple of games. I feel like he's had like a little bit of a dip here in production. Um, yeah, 32 yards, 82 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's not bad, but it was really this last game, 32 yards and a touchdown. I think he'll be fine. Obviously, he also had this game, 39 yards against the Ravens, 39 yards against the Jags. Dolphins, oh, he had 78, 71. I mean, I think he'll be fine just because this offense is so good. You can always start him every week. Dalton Kincaid's really been making me mad. This dude's, I've been starting him every week in fantasy. And he's just been pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was gonna be better than what he has been. He's only had 1 week with a touchdown. Like, I don't know. He's getting like a good amount of targets. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not. He's just not getting there. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, I mean, looking at the Seahawks side of things, obviously you're not gonna have DK Metcalf most likely. So, um, I really do think that this passing offense is gonna involve a lot more JSN than Tyler Lockett. Um, and I think we're gonna probably see a lot of Kenneth Walker, and Geno Smith. Obviously probably throwing the ball like we're used to seeing him do. Um, but yeah, I think Jason should probably get a decent amount of looks in this offense. And I'd be very excited to start him this week. Really, same thing with Tyler Lockett, but I don't think he's gonna get as much receptions and targets as Jason this week. Yeah, I think the Bills should take this one, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks can make this a game for sure. Um, all right, there's a lot of games this week, huh? Or wait, where are we actually? Oh, I lied. I thought these were all new games. No, so we're here. Okay, we got a couple more games left. Yeah, so let's look at the Eagles Bengals here. So obviously we just got word that T Higgins is out like an hour ago. And we kind of already talked about the implications of T Higgins being out for this Bengals offense. Obviously, losing their second best option, who's been really good ever since he's been back. But I mean, I think that Jamar Chase is probably going to continue to see more and more receptions from that T Higgins was getting before. I think that Chase Brown is probably going to get a good amount of carries. I actually want to see something with Chase Brown. want to see split between Chase Brown and Zach Moss. All right, so obviously Chase Brown's gotten the majority of this offensive workload after Zach Moss fumbled. And yeah, so Zach Moss 6 carries, Chase Brown 15. I mean, Chase Brown's a more efficient player, 2.9 yards per carry, not very efficient, but I mean, he's more efficient than Zach Moss. I mean, I think that he's probably going to continue to get more snaps from Moss as the season goes on. Looking at the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, Saquon, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. These guys are all in, you know, they have an opportunity here to have a really good game. All four of these guys. Looking at the Bengals, we got look at their defense is horrendous. 20th in passing, 28th in rushing, 24th in pressure rate. So the Eagles should really have a field day, especially Saquon. What's up, Dylan? How you doing? Full PPR, different leagues. Start 2, Bateman, Odunze, Shakir Olave. Start 1 tight end. Okay, start 1 QB. Okay, let's do this first league first. For your 2 flex spots, so Odunze, Shakir, Olave. I honestly, obviously you would start Olave usually, but Olave kind of scares me with Rattler. I would definitely start Shakir. I would probably go between Odunze and Olave. I don't know, because Olave is probably not gonna be that good with Rattler. Let's look at this last game here. Between Kmet and Ertz, I think. Okay, so with Kmet and Ertz, I think if you're gonna start Odunze, then you should probably start Ertz. I think you should start Ertz probably, just because I think Ertz is probably the safer option. And he's actually getting a decent amount of targets from Jaden Daniels. But yeah, let's get Rattler. So against the Broncos here, I just want to see what his passing is looking like. Okay, actually, I wouldn't hate you starting Olave because he is targeting his guys a decent amount. I'd probably go Olave, Shakir, Ertz in that one league, and then your other league, I would go Jaden Daniels, Josh Jacobs, and Kenneth Walker, and then for your receiver, I'd probably go Garrett Wilson and Terry just because we're not sure about D-Hop's role with the Chiefs yet. I would probably stay away from D-Hop for now just because, like I just said, we don't really know how this is going to look. And kind of like, as we've seen historically from the Chiefs, they've really been spreading the ball a lot. So I think that, that's something to consider. If D-Hop does go off this week, I wouldn't be surprised, but he's more of a riskier play in my opinion, especially with just coming to the Chiefs this past week. So if you want to, I would definitely start Terry, especially because you're gonna start Daniels. So if you would start D-Hop over Wilson, I think you could definitely think about it, but I would start Wilson just because he's more locked in that role. Good question though, Dylan. All right, Broncos Panthers here. Once again, this is kind of this sucks for Bryce Young to come back in a game where he's playing the best defense in the NFL. I mean, I don't think that the Panthers really stand a chance here. Like straight up. Obviously, another week with Chuba Hubbard. Jonathan Brooks is still out. I think Brooks is just he's gonna be out for, until they really want to bring him back because of how good Hubbard's been. But this isn't, the Broncos should probably easily take this one. It's kind of crazy that the Broncos are most likely going to be 5-3 after this week. No one really expected them to be this good, but I mean, you look at their defense: number 1 in passing, number 8 in rushing, number 3 in pressure rate. Offensively, 27th in passing, 12th in rushing, 11th and pressure rate in terms of their offensive line. So I think that really the defense has been carrying. They're actually 11-point favorites in this game is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think the Broncos should take this one easily. It's kind of crazy to think that the Broncos might actually be in the playoffs. Keenan Allen or Olave? I'd say Olave. I feel like it's so hard though because I feel like Olave is such a trap. He's like one of those dudes. He's just like one of those receivers. So I'd probably lean Olave, but I wouldn't hate you for starting Keenan Allen over him, especially after last game. But I think you gotta go Olave. He's probably the safer option. You know. Um. All right, Cowboys 49ers game. This should be a really good game. Obviously, let me check the. Let me see if they said anything about like Debo Samuel or anything like that. Let's see. Okay. Questionable. Oh, he's supposed to play. Okay, so Debo's playing. I know Jennings is out. Kittle's probably playing. As a Cowboys fan, Niners by 100. Dude, honestly, it's probably gonna happen. And I mean, I hate to rip the Cowboys, but they just can't win against good teams. It's kind of like I mean, even like looking at their efficiency, like 24th in passing, 28th in rushing on the offensive side, defense 27th in passing. They're the worst rushing defense team. I mean, it's crazy considering how good this defense was last year. Obviously, Cowboys they're just like a roller coaster team, right? They're gonna have the highs, you're gonna have the lows. Last week, or I mean, 2 weeks ago, you obviously had some lows against the Lions, where they got absolutely destroyed, as you can see here. The 49ers, though, I think that this is kind of like a revenge game after losing to the Chiefs here. Do the Chiefs stay undefeated? Yeah, easily. They play the Raiders this week. We'll get into that game here in a second, but I think that they should, especially with D-Hop coming in. Oh, wait, did we already talk about the Chiefs? We didn't. I skipped over them. My bad. I got excited about this game, I guess. Very little highs. Yeah, it's kind of like you know what? Let's draw it out. Let's draw it out the Cowboys. Um, white picture. Let's see. Let me go to images. All right. Now let's go ahead and let's show you guys what the the Cowboys look like. All right. So we got. All right. Let's draw this out. So Cowboys season every year, right? All right, let's go ahead and start out. So, all right, we'll bring up the Cowboys season this year as a reference, right? So, obviously, they usually, start off with the W right here. And then it kind of goes downhill, right? So, we got let's see. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay. So, we got obviously starting off the year, we them boys, right? So we got the We Them Boys here. Usually it lasts more than 1 week. I would say weeks 1 to 3. Weeks 1 to 3, We Them Boys, right? And then it just goes to like, we play a good team, right? So let's just play a good team. Play a good team. And it goes from We Them Boys to season's over, right? And this usually happens like we saw this week. Week 6, I'd say like week 5, really. Week 5-ish. Maybe here, let me make this weeks 1 to 4. to make the math add up, right? After this happens, there's another high of Wheat and Boys, and that's probably like weeks like, let's say like 7 through 10. No, we'll do like 7 through 12, and then we'll make playoffs, right? So we'll put playoffs. Probably might not happen this year. Probably won't, sadly. Um, so we got playoffs, and then we got first round exits. Um, and then the cycle starts again. Exist. Pretend like that S isn't there, and then it starts all over. So this is kind of like this is what we expect from the Cowboys here, right? Um, and I mean, you know, it's pretty sad. Obviously, I think they definitely need to make some changes if they want to end up winning a Super Bowl. But I mean, looking at this game, I think that the Niners should win this. Just I don't know. We've kind of already said our whole spiel, I guess. Yeah, let's go ahead and go back to this Chiefs game. I didn't even realize I skipped it. Um, Obviously D Hop first game here with the Chiefs should be, you know, pretty good in my opinion. Hopefully, they're really not projecting him to do much here on NFL Pro, which is kind of surprising. Don't forget 2 game. We split every season. Yep, there we go. I forgot to put that too. My bad. But you're right. And Jerry's saying some crazy stuff to the media. Yeah, and then we go to the off season, right? Yeah. So it's a lot of Jerry Jones stuff too that I got to put in there. But I mean, looking at the Chiefs here, Mahomes is projected 275 passing yards. That's actually crazy. Mahomes has not been good this year at all, especially in fantasy. He hasn't had a single game over 20 fantasy points. Could that change? Yes. I don't think it will. Because he's really got no one to throw the ball to. But I mean, I really hope Kelsey starts getting more involved in this offense because Kelsey is, the dude for Mahomes to throw the ball to. Kareem Hunt's like amazing. Even though he's really old, he's looked really good. But I mean, looking at the Raiders, no Aiden O'Connell. You got Minshew coming in. I mean, only dude you can start like we said every week is Brock Bowers. This team just is absolutely abysmal. Yeah. And then let's see. All right, last game here Monday night with the Giants versus Pittsburgh. All right, looking at the Giants, Tyrone Tracy has actually looked really good. I'm surprised he's only projected 36 rushing yards. Is Singletary back? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm surprised Singletary is on here and Tyrone Tracy is. But Tracy, either way, he's been looking really good. He's been looking like a really efficient running back. Danny Dimes, he's looked really good. This year, like if you look at overarching, right? I know last week they sucked against the Eagles. Neighbors is an absolute beast. Will Diop show out? There's definitely a chance that he could. Obviously like Amari Cooper, I don't think D Hop's gonna get 100% of the snaps this week because it's his first week. I think he should get like a 50% snap count ish, kind of like Cooper. And I think that he could for sure, do really well, but I don't think it's likely. Okay, but looking at this, looking at Neighbors, that's right. Obviously last week 4 targets, 41 yards, really didn't do too much, but I mean he's been him basically every other week. He's getting all the targets, 7, 18, 12, 15, 8. Everything you really want from a receiver in fantasy football is going Malik Neighbors' way. Looking at the Steelers, Russell Wilson actually has been looking really good. And Najee too. Let's pull up Najee's stats. Najee, obviously, at the beginning of the year, I was really questionable about. But I mean, as time has gone on, This dude's been really good. So he's really had this backfield on locks from Jalen Warren, which is not something I expected. I thought that Warren was gonna challenge him a little bit more than what we've been seeing. But I mean, he's been really efficient actually, or not really efficient, but he's been efficient, which was something that was questionable last year, right? Right now he's at 4.1 yards per carry. Um, I wonder if you can see last year's stats. Yeah, you can. All right, yeah, 4.1 last year, 3.8, 3.9. I mean, he's not a bad running back for sure. You know, hmm, it's cool too. Inside and outside tackles. But anyway, um, he's looked really good. Um, I didn't think he was gonna look this good, but hey, he's been a great player. Pickens looks amazing with Russell Wilson. I think he's gonna continue to look amazing with Russell Wilson. Um, I'm not sure how Mike Tomlin's gonna do this offense. Um, because obviously there were some rumors that Fields was gonna come in the red zone area because obviously Russell Wilson's not a great quarterback in the red zone, but we saw Wilson get 100% of the snaps. I think it's gonna continue to be that way. I think Tomlin's gonna stay with his veteran. Um, but yeah, I think that's all the games there. So let's just go ahead and let's look at some of these stats here. Why don't I? Gino is leading the league in passing yards, and Baker Mayfield has 18 passing touchdowns. Some of these stats are crazy. Like, all right, let's look at last year. Um, I don't know if y'all remember this. I wish it would show me like weeks whatever to whatever. But Sam Howell was leading the league in passing yards last year. At one random time. Um, but yeah, I mean this dude, low key, he was on like a Jameis Winston type run, like a baby Jameis. You know what I'm saying? Didn't get the 5,000 passing yards or 30 touchdowns or 30 interceptions, but he was he was getting there. You know. Um, but I mean like honestly, the people that I'm most surprised with, Lamar, obviously coming off his MVP year, he's looked better than last year easily. Um, Geno's looked really good this year. Baker Mayfield looked really good. Joe Burrow only has 2 interceptions this year. Um, I think Stafford's going to continue to be really good. With Cup and Nakua back, I think this offense is going to be amazing. Really. Sam Darnold, I think he's probably been the biggest shock to everyone, right? I think my favorite quarterback to watch right now is probably Jordan Love. Obviously, obviously he's a like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. He just checks it downfield, right? And this one isn't looking good, but Ferguson, Mostert, Shepard, or Downs for my flex this week. I'd go between Ferguson and Downs. Because obviously Ferguson's getting a lot of the targets from Dak Prescott. With Josh Downs, let me see something with Josh Downs. Josh Downs obviously looked really, really good with Joe Flacco as his QB. Let me see. Where is it? There they are. Colts, Texans. And really, this Texans defense hasn't been looking that great. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, so you had Richardson last week. Only 129 passing yards. Downs, one reception, 3 yards. You know, Downs, that's a tough. This is tough. He's a good player. But I mean, it's the same thing with Pittman, right? You can't really start these guys with Richardson as the quarterback. I'd probably go Ferguson, honestly. Even though I think that they're probably, I think they're going to be battling back. They're probably going to be losing this game, so I think that Prescott's probably going to have to throw the ball a lot in this one. But I mean, we're looking at Ferguson, right? He's been getting a lot of targets. If this will load. or a decent amount, I guess. Only 4 targets against the Lions. But once again, this game was kind of an outlier, so let's not count this. But like 7 targets, 11 targets, 5 targets. He's been getting a lot of targets, a lot of yards, a lot of receptions, especially for a tight end this year. So, I mean, I think the safer option is probably going to be Ferguson. Mostert, I don't know if you can start Mostert because even whenever Tua was playing, he really didn't look that good. Sterling Shepard, obviously, Sterling Shepard would be more of a riskier play. So if you're definitely projected to win this week, I wouldn't hate you for starting Shepard. But I think that Ferguson's probably your safest bet there. Good question though. Appreciate it, man. Okay, where even were we? I got so many tabs open that I don't even know what I'm doing. I think we're just looking at stats, right? Let's continue to just look at stats. Scary Terry Bigsby. Flex PPR. I would go Scary. Scary Terry. Because it's PPR. I think Scary Terry probably has a higher upside in my opinion than Bigsby. I got you, Footy. But I mean, honestly, the thing with Bigsby, right, is that he's gonna get all the workload out of this offense. My gut's telling me to go with Scary Terry just because he has more upside, and that's really what you want in your flex spot. Yeah, but let's look at Tank. 118 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Patriots, 24 yards, obviously only 7 attempts. Honestly, bro, I wouldn't hate you for starting Bigsby. The one thing I'm worried about is I think that the Jacksonville is probably going to be losing this game a lot. I don't think they're going to be throwing. I mean, I don't think they're going to be running as much as obviously last week against the Patriots. So, and we really haven't been seeing. Let me see if I can pull this back up. I don't think we've really been seeing Bigsby been used as a pass catcher that much. Let's see if we can see this. Bigsby, yeah, we only saw 1 target, so he's really just getting a lot of attempts out of this backfield. Obviously with Scary Terry, I think that him and Jaden Daniels have a really good connection right now. So that's a good question though. My gut was leaning towards Scary Terry when he first asked me this question, but as I've been looking at the stats and stuff, I wouldn't hate you for starting Bigsby either, because Bigsby's been really efficient with the touches he's getting. I think if you want to be safe, like, because in this game I think if you want a safer option, kind of crazy for me to say Terry. I don't think Daniels does any plus. If he does, he's out. Yeah, that's true. So then, I mean, if Daniels doesn't play, you for sure start Bigsby. Honestly, I would think Bigsby's probably your safer option, which is kind of crazy. I mean, yeah, I'd probably go Tank because I think he's probably gonna get like 90% of snaps in this backfield. And he is actually a really explosive running back. 5.3 yards after contact, 4th highest missed tackle rate. Yeah, I would probably go Bigsby. I have Daniels and I'm using 2 over Daniels. I respect it. I mean, you could definitely start, if Daniels plays, you could start Daniels and McLaurin if you really wanted to, but that's up to you there. Good afternoon. How are you doing, Eric? 12 team, half PPR start to Waddle, DJ Moore, Chubb, McMillan. So here I would really be probably starting Waddle and DJ Moore. I'm really excited to see how Waddle does. With DJ Moore, he's like pretty good with Caleb Williams as his quarterback. Let's go ahead and look at his usage. Obviously last game, I don't think he was it wasn't that good. But I mean, looking at all these other games, right? He's had at least 10 points in fantasy, so he's been a very consistent option in my opinion. So you can have him for consistency. Waddle, you can definitely take as more like a riskier player. Obviously with Tua coming back and this being his first week. I think Tua is actually probably gonna be a really good option this week, especially against the Cardinals. I think this game should probably be pretty close, but um, yeah. I mean, the only person I would consider Chubb with McMillan, it's a little hard. Obviously Baker has to throw the ball to someone. I think that Kate On's probably gonna get the majority of the targets. So I would wait on McMillan to see until like next week, really, and to see just how this target share looks. Half PPR Goff, Cousins, or Tua. I would say if you're gonna start, if this is the same league, I would go with Tua, because you'll have Tua and Waddle stacked together. Um, but if this is just like a completely different league, I'd probably go between Tua and Goff. Um, but don't hate Kirk Cousins either. But let's see who the Lions play. Lions play Titans. So the thing with Goff, right, is that the line. Oh my gosh, the Lions are favored by 12.5 points. So the thing with this, obviously, is you're probably not going to see Tua really. I mean, not Tua. Goff like throw the ball a lot in the second half because they're probably going to be winning by a lot, and you're probably going to be seeing Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, guys like that rush the ball a lot just to expire the clock. Obviously. Honestly, I do think that Kirk's gonna have a big game here, though. I go between. I changed my answer. Instead of Goff and Tua, I'd probably go between Kirk and Tua. Um, like I said, if this is the same league with Waddle, I would start Tua and Waddle. If this is a different league, though, honestly, I really do like Kirk Cousins against the Buccaneers here. Especially Buccaneers passing defense really sucks. And the Falcons have a lot of targets to throw the ball to. Obviously the Lions do too, and the Dolphins, but I do like Kirk a lot in this matchup. So good question though. Good question for sure. Oops. Okay. It is 11:39. We've got about 20 minutes before the game start. So we'll play it out for another 20 minutes. And then it'll be time to go watch some NFL. That'll be fun. Let's see. This is interesting. Derrick Henry has recorded most rushing yards, second most first downs over expected. Yeah, dude, Derrick Henry's probably he's been insane. I didn't expect this from him at all. I thought Derrick Henry was gonna be washed, but this dude's looked like I don't even. This guy looks like he's just an absolute beast. Let's see rushing stats. 873 yards on the season in 7 games. That's crazy. 8 touchdowns too. Him and Kyron Williams really have been like getting a touchdown every game, which is crazy. But yeah, I mean you see right there, 363 yards over expected. Next dude is Saquon, and then it's Jordan Mason, Chuba. So, there's Tank Bixby. Jonathan Taylor. Brees Hall only has 348 rushing yards. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Really hasn't been that good this year. With Robert Saleh as his head coach. This is cool though. Versus 20 plus yards. Derrick Henry, Saquon, Jaden Daniels, Joe Mixon, Tony. Gosh, dude. Jaden Daniels has 40 of 15 plus. That's crazy. 31 for Jordan Mason, 30 for Lamar. 10 yards. Joe Flacco is one of these, right? Let's look at Joe Flacco's. Joe Flacco. Ezekiel Elliott has 0. He has 15 yards though. Let me see. Let's look at the receiving usage right now. Justin Jefferson leading the league in receiving yards. Obviously, Nico's still top 5. He's missed 2 games. I think if Nico was healthy, this dude would be an absolute stud right now. I think he's probably would be at, like, honestly, around 800-ish passing yards. Or, I mean, receiving yards. He's been an absolute beast. Garrett Wilson. Let's take Garrett Wilson's. I love Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson's probably my favorite receiver in the NFL. That's not in the Texans. Was that like 23 targets? That's crazy. He's just a target monster. You know what I'm saying? Lazard. Lazard's 17 for. Wow. Wow. Crazy stuff here. $150. Yeah, Jacobs has been really good this year too. He's been getting a lot of usage from the Packers, that's for sure. This season was crazy. 1,600 rush yards for the Raiders. 4.9 yards per carry. He's at 4.5 right now. He only has 1 touchdown on the season. I think that's rushing touchdowns because he has a receiving. He got a receiving touchdown last week against the Texans, I think. So he's really at 2. That's crazy, though. Really isn't getting a lot of touchdowns, huh? What is this? Yeah, that doesn't look good. Myles Garrett leads the NFL with 19 quick pressures under 2.5 seconds this season, while also recording the second quickest pass rush get off time, 0.868 seconds among edge rushers. That is crazy. Alright, you know what? Let's go and look at my fantasy team, because I think that would be a great use of time right now. Let's see what we got. Do we start Cooper or Brian Thomas? I think that this is fine. Look at this league. Let's make sure everything's fine. Gino. I think everything's fine there. Let's check out the Yahoo League. Yep. Let's check it out. Let's do security key. Oh wait, what? No. Let's just do it another way. Alright, guess that's not my password. That's not the password either. Alrighty. Just text message. Create a new password? Are you serious? I don't want to create a new password. Moderate. Almost there. What am I... Like, bro. do it later. Whatever. Let's see. Silver minus 19. I have no idea what that means. I don't know how Yahoo Fantasy works, but okay. So we got Debo's playing. I think I like this. We're just running with this. Who do we play? Matchup. Alright, we play Philly Bulldogs. They got Hurts. Hurts and AJ Brown. Ooh, that's kind of nasty. Kenneth Walker. Olave. It's going to be a tough one. Hopefully we can pull it out. I think we will. Bro, Kyron Williams all over here. He's actually been really good this year. Puka. Okay, well this is only just the first game, huh? Oh man, it's so sad that he's out. Let me see this. This is actually interesting. Sad. Yeah, okay, not surprised. I can't believe Brandon Ayuk's out for the year. I mean, he didn't really do anything, but like, it still sucks. Because he was, he's obviously just got paid so much money and he didn't really do anything. Wow, they're even to 50 more yards per game than any other team in the NFL. Their offense is crazy. Seattle's pass percentage, 66.5%. Dallas, 65. New York, 65. Browns, 64. Yeah, that's not surprising. No, the Commanders are one. That's really not surprising. Seahawks number 1, Cowboys number 2, Detroit. Rushing yards per play. That's crazy. 6.2 rushing yards per play. Bro, if they just run the ball the whole game, they get like, however many plays you get a game, times that by 6.2. Like, that's a touchdown every time. They just run it every time. I mean, you could do that. Let's see who's the worst. Which running back's the worst in the NFL? Cowboys. Okay, not surprising. They need a running back pretty badly. And then the Bears. Probably because Swift started off really bad. And then the Raiders. Not surprising. Jets. That's kind of surprising. Rams. That's kind of surprising. Giants. Not surprising. Chargers. Yeah, kind of surprising. Oh, man. What is the 2023 NFL? Leading by 8+ points within 7 points, trailing by 8 points. So you want to run. Yeah, you want to really be like 50-50, I guess. That's what they're kind of saying here. About team defense. Top 5 defense. Huh. Wow, so you want it to be here. The Broncos are here. Are you serious? That's insane. Chargers, wow. Chargers are a pretty good defense, huh? At least according to that stat. What are their efficiencies? 10 and 7. Yeah, I mean they are pretty good defense, huh? Pressure rate, blitz rate. Let's see, pressure rate over 40%. Oh, the Bengals are wearing all white unis today. Let's see them. Let's see them. Yeah, those are nice. All white unis are tough. I'm playing the Eagles today too. It's gonna be a good one. That is going to be a good one. Jane Daniels is starting. Okay. Yeah. So then I would start him for sure. That's crazy. It's actually interesting that he's starting though. 'Cause he was really rumored all week not to be playing, and now he's starting. So I don't know. Obviously, I'm happy he's starting because I'm really excited to see Jane Daniels versus Caleb Williams. That's gonna be a really good game, and it's a really good matchup too. So all right, we got 5 minutes before the games though. I think I'm probably gonna end the stream here. Because I want to go downstairs and get ready. So I really do appreciate you guys for coming around and watching the stream. Um, and excited to watch some football today. I hope you guys are as well. And yeah, next video will be on Wednesday. Hey Bryce, how you doing? We're ending the stream here, so you came a little late, but I hope you're doing good, Bryce. Hope you've been having a good day. Um, but yeah, we're gonna go watch some of these NFL games. Hopefully, I helped y'all out with some of your fantasy football questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys whenever I upload my next video. Yep. And I'll probably stream. Hopefully, I'll stream. I don't even know if I'm gonna be streaming Saturday. I really hope so, but I'm not sure. I guess I'll see you guys whenever I see.